If you've driven down PGA Boulevard in Palm Beach Gardens in the last year or two, you've probably noticed the construction. The cranes on the water, the 3 buildings going up on the Intracoastal near the Marina. Maybe you've wondered, what is it? Today, I'm going to tell you everything because this is, by almost every measure, the most significant residential development ever built in Palm Beach Gardens. And it's delivering its first residents right now in spring of 2026. This is the Ritz-Carlton Residences, Palm Beach Gardens. And before I tell you what it is, let me tell you what it isn't. It's not a hotel. It's not a resort. It's not a timeshare. It is 106 private homes managed by the Ritz-Carlton brand with a full-time Ritz-Carlton staff, 24/7 concierge, and every standard you'd expect from a 5-star property. But these are private residences that you own outright. Your name is on the deed. Think of it as having a Ritz-Carlton at your disposal every single day, because that's essentially what it is. To understand why this development matters, you have to start with the land. The developer is Dan Catafumo, founder of Catafumo Properties in Palm Beach Gardens institution since 1978, with over 75 million square feet of development and more than $8 billion in completed projects across his career. He's also the man who built the original Ritz-Carlton Condos on Singer Island, which tells you something about his relationship with this brand and this market. When Catafumo started assembling the site, he made 2 acquisitions. The first, the main parcel, the former Panama Hattie's Marina restaurant site, purchased for $33 million in 2021. The second, the adjacent 2.45-acre waterfront home, purchased for $18.5 million. Together, 14 contiguous acres of Intracoastal waterfront at 2200 PGA Boulevard. And here's a quote that I think every property owner in this corridor needs to hear. When describing why this site commanded such extraordinary financing, Catafumo called it the last 14 contiguous acres of waterfront land in Palm Beach County. Not one of the last, the last. When a developer with 50 years in this market says something like that, to justify a $340 million construction loan, the largest in Palm Beach County residential history, that's not marketing language. That's a statement of fact about the finite resource. The project consists of 3 7-story buildings housing 106 residents. That's 106 homes across 3 buildings on 14 acres. The density is intentionally low. This is not a tower. It's more like 3 boutique estates sharing world-class amenity campus. The unit breakdown: standard residences, 3-bedroom plus den configuration from 2,700 to 3,400 square feet, starting at $4.5 million. 4-bedroom plus den units from 3,500 to 4,200 square feet from $6 million. 5-bedroom plus den units from 4,500 to 5,000 plus square feet from $8 million. 13 grand terrace residences, standard floor plans, plus 1,800 square feet private terraces from $7 million, and 16 penthouses at the top of each building. And here's a detail that tells you something about the buyer profile. Several purchasers combined adjacent units to create custom mega residences. One combination resulted in 8,800 square feet, listed at $15.5 million. Every residence has a private elevator, floor-to-floor ceiling, triple glazed impact windows, wolf and sub-zero kitchens, smart home automation throughout, EV charging for 2 vehicles per residence. Now let's talk about what Ritz-Carlton management actually brings to this building, because this is where the brand justifies the premium. The centerpiece is a 95 to 100 foot infinity edge pool overlooking the Intracoastal, 12 full service cabanas, a pool deck that on a clear day gives you an unobstructed view of the water that most people in Palm Beach Gardens only get to drive past. Then there's the Marina, 29 slips, private, accommodating vessels up to 80 feet. If you're a boater, this is the kind of amenity that used to require you to either own waterfront property or pay outright for a separate marina membership. Here, it's built into the community. The indoor amenity space exceeds 20,000 square feet, a full clubhouse spa, cinema, fitness center, 2 private guest suites for when family visits, and a 15,000 square foot upper mezzanine deck, a putting green, and pickleball courts. Overlaying all of it, Ritz-Carlton management. As of March 2026, the building has a permanent general manager, Monique Nussbaum, a 25-year Ritz-Carlton veteran, actively on site. This is not a building where you call management when something breaks. This is a building where there's a team of people whose entire professional purpose is to make sure your experience as a resident exceeds your expectations every single day. Let me give you a few numbers that tell you how this project has been received. February 2023 pre-sales launch. Within the first few days, buyers committed $75 million in contracts. $75 million in days. May 2023, Madison Realty Capital closes a $340 million construction loan, the largest new development residential construction loan in Palm Beach County history. And then came November 2024. After the presidential election, the developer reported a 90% spike in buyer inquiries. Make of that what you will politically, but the data tells you something about who this buyer profile is and what motivates them. By the time construction hit major milestones in late 2025, the project was over 50% sold. As of spring 2026, remaining inventory ranges from $3.8 million to over $10 million. Here's the part of this video that I think matters. Most people who aren't necessarily in the market for a $4.5 million condo, when a building like this delivers, when the first residents move in, and the Ritz-Carlton brand officially becomes part of the comparable landscape for Palm Beach Gardens, it doesn't just affect the 106 people who bought here, it affects every home sale in the surrounding corridor. Comparables work by proximity and similarity. When the benchmark of waterfront luxury in Palm Beach Gardens moves from where it was in 2022 to where it is in 2026 at $4, $6, $8 million, $15 million, every resale conversation in communities like Palm Beach Gardens Waterfront, Frenchman's Harbor, Rialto, and the broader Intracoastal corridor shifts accordingly. I'm not saying your single-family home in Palm Beach Gardens just jumped in value because of the Ritz-Carlton opening, but I am saying that the ceiling for this market has been meaningfully raised, and that has a downstream effect on the entire pricing landscape. If you own in this area and you haven't had a current market analysis done in the last 6 to 12 months, now is a good time. The Ritz-Carlton Residences Palm Beach Gardens is the kind of project that every market gets once. The site is irreplaceable. The product is genuinely extraordinary. And the fact that it's delivering right now in spring of 2026 makes this one of the most timely topics I can cover on this channel. I have a full deep dive on Coretta and Juno Beach coming up next. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you have questions about what's available, what this market looks like for buyers or sellers right now, or what relocating to North Palm Beach County actually involves, book a free 15-minute call with me. The link is in the description. I'm Amanda Sweets with Keller Williams Realty of the Palm Beaches. See you in the next video.